You know what? I'm dumb. I'm straight up dumb. It is so blatantly obvious who the female Titan was that, like, I feel like an absolute freaking idiot for not calling it in the last volume. Okay, so, and honestly, I don't know where the story's going, so I can't really say, but I was kind of disappointed how quickly it was revealed. Like, it's just one chapter of showing Annie, and then the very next chapter, or at the end of that chapter, she already transforms into the Titan. So it doesn't really give you a chance to have that kind of mystery effect. So that was a little disappointing for me. I kind of wanted that to kind of drag on, but at the same time, it's so blatantly obvious as soon as she re-enters the story. Like, all she does, literally, I called it out, and I was like so looking forward to doing this review and calling it out in the review before it happens. Like, I was expecting it to happen, 3 or 4 volumes later, and I was going to be like, guys, I know who the female Titan is, trying to look all cool, but it didn't work. It really didn't work, because Annie wakes up and she's all groggy and tired, and they comment on it, and just like from that one image of her just walking down the stairs and she's like super tired, it's just like that's it, it's right there. Like, you can tell, because Annie, of course, was the only member, I believe, I could be wrong, I think she was the only member of the Survey Corps training segment that chose not to be in the Survey Corps and instead decided to be in the, was it the Police Brigade, I think it's called? She was the only one that chose not to do that. So, obviously, she wouldn't have been out there with everybody else, well, officially. She could have followed them out, which she did. Also, she was there for the training, so she got all the training of the Survey Corps. She knew what they could do in the field. She knew the strengths and weaknesses of particular members. She knew what Eren looked like. She knew what she was like. It just... she was one of the best fighters of the entire group. I remember she was taking everybody down. Like, she beat Eren in a fight, and she beat, I think, Jean in a fight. Like, it's so blatantly obvious that, like, I'm kicking myself for not getting it, for not understanding that Annie is obviously the female Titan. And like I said, I was so looking forward to pointing it out to you guys, but it doesn't matter because it all goes down in this volume anyways. But I mean, that aside, that's a small little gripe, and that's only a gripe being with, like, I don't know where the story's going, so I kind of wish they dragged out the mystery element of it more, but I could be shown that this was the best decision they could have done in the story. I'm not sure yet. But one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about was Annie's conversation with a couple of the other Police Brigade members, where they're kind of talking about this idea of humanity and, like, what it means to be good. And I think one of the ideas behind it that I wrote down was, so if humanity is left in charge, it becomes corrupt, in a way. So I think this is kind of lead to the idea of what the Titans are all about, because she was kind of saying, at least I believe, that humans left to their own devices, everyone believes that they're good, and they create these systems and these establishments, and they do it with good intentions. They do it because they're good people, and they do it because they want the good of humanity. However, once the systems are in place, the systems themselves without a doubt will become corrupt. And this is true because this happens in all facets of humanity and in society, in our society and governments right now. It doesn't matter how good of intentions people have, things ultimately become corrupt, because when power is involved, when controlling the people is involved, when telling the people what they can and cannot do is involved, you will always have confliction. Anyways, the point is, when you have an establishment, a government, or whatever it is, trying to do something for the greater good of the people, there will always be that confliction with the people themselves that want the freedoms to be themselves. And with that, you might have governments or societies or whatever else go through darker means in order to kind of push that agenda of wanting to, either for the greater good, we must do these horrible things, as we've seen in Attack on Titan, where leaders are willing to let certain particular people die in order to save the greater whole. And it's always that kind of situation. There's a term for it, but it's like, would you sacrifice the few for the many, and things of that nature, where it's like, what is the right plan of action? What is the good thing to do? And perhaps part of the purpose of this story of Attack on Titan is to get across the point that there is no ultimate good thing to do, as we learned in the last couple of volumes, where Levi was saying, where he had to make those choices within combat, within war, that may have not been the best choices, but he had no time to debate as to which choice would be better. He just had to make a decision, because if you didn't make a decision, then everyone's going to die anyways. And so that might be the underlying theme or core of what Attack on Titan is all about, in that, there really is no good person. There really is no evil person, it's all shades of gray. And that's kind of what it's coming across, especially when it comes to governments and controlling entities. Whereas you have all of these people that perhaps all want to do good, but in order to do the good that they're trying to do, they wind up doing horrible things. And then it just kind of is like a domino effect from there, and things keep getting worse and worse. And so what I think the point of her conversation was, and where I think the point of the Titans might come into play, is that it could be that if Titans ruled the world, if there was no human society, if all the walls were torn down, and people were just left free on the world, and we had to survive day to day from Titans, then perhaps people would show that they are more good. They would become more quote-unquote good, because you wouldn't be in a societal system which would force you to have these corrupt agendas. You would be simply surviving day to day, your life-to-life basis. That's what you would be focused on. So every day you would just be focused on survival and gathering food and procreating and just the very simple, basic, primal needs of life. And so perhaps with this threat of the Titans, perhaps you would have unity of people being all on the same page and being all the same level of quote-unquote good. And perhaps that's what it was all about from the get-go. But humans have managed to create these walls, and within the wall created cities and societies that seem to go the same way as humanity was before the Titans. If we're assuming that humanity was like how we know it, in our real world before the Titans existed, where there was horrible things like human trafficking, which we saw in Attack on Titan, where there was corrupt government agendas, where there was hidden secrets that they didn't tell people about, as I'm going to get to in a second here. So perhaps that is the whole idea of the Titans to begin with, is just to get humanity on the same page and living a day-to-day life where we can be good and with one another with one unified goal in mind: survival. So I thought that was pretty interesting and thought I would share that. Sorry I kind of got off on a rant tangent. It happens sometimes. You just got to deal with it. Like I said, the reveal of Annie being the Titan was a little bit too soon, I thought, but again, going forward, I don't know if that'll wind up, perhaps it was the best choice that they could have done, how they kind of led her into a place where she would have to go underground, in which case she could turn into a Titan, and then of course she refused and got jumped, which was a very poor decision on the military's part, because she turned into a Titan right away and just annihilated people. And I love how Mikasa just takes none of this shit. Mikasa's still my favorite character, and she just straight up is just ready to battle. She just does not... She's going to take this threat down, and she knows it's a threat not only to the world, but to Eren specifically, who she, of course, is always by his side, no matter what. And my fellas, you do not find loyalty like that common in life. So if you find a lady like Mikasa, please keep her around. There is a battle that ensues. It's very short, very sweet, and then, of course, at the end, Annie is captured, and they were able to rip her out of the Titan, but unlike before, now she is kind of surrounded in this cocoon-like thing. It's like this just kind of mass of flesh, whatever it is, that I guess is like hard as steel. They can't go through it, and she's unconscious within. And she had a brief flashback where I think she's talking to her father. I don't want to get crazy theory, because it didn't look like Eren's father. And I was thinking maybe, because he injected Eren with whatever Titan serum that there was, so maybe he had something to do with her. Didn't actually look like him, so probably isn't. But he said to her, no matter what, to come back. And I don't really know what that's supposed to imply, the words come back. Is she supposed to come back to a location, or come back like to her senses? Like, I don't understand what that was really all about. And of course, during this battle, during this kind of climactic event, Mikasa is on the wall, and she's the one that causes Annie to fall. And part of the wall breaks away, and then we find out that there are actually Titans inside the wall. So the wall was built around Titans, which actually kind of makes sense, because I was thinking, like, how did humanity possibly build up a wall this large in a world where Titans were roaming around. Like, I just didn't understand like how they could conceivably work on making the wall while fending off Titans, and to do it that efficiently, because the walls are just gigantic. They're huge. They're just under 50 meters tall, because the Colossal Titan was 50 meters, and he was like just peeking over the wall. So it makes sense that the wall is actually the size of Titans. So we have Titans that have surrounded humanity. Somehow they've gotten the Titans into a trance-like state, to where they were just standing kind of still, and were able to build this wall around them, like using their height to make the wall, which makes more sense. As to how this happened, I don't know. Perhaps there is some kind of deeper way to control Titans. Perhaps the Titans themselves, if we know Titans were made from humans, then perhaps they willingly did this. Perhaps it was part of whatever Titan juice was injected into them. Maybe they were thinking, we will do this for mankind. Maybe they were thinking that they wanted to step away from this Titan ruling the world kind of thing. Maybe it was humans themselves that found the Titan serum and then decided to take that sacrifice, like, we will turn into Titans, but with the addendum that we will become the wall. I don't know. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot that it could be. But those Titans are not awake. They're not conscious. At least not unless sunlight hits them, I guess. I don't really know. That was an offbeat comment. But anyways, some people know about this in this kind of religious aspect of the town that's going on. And so that will be interesting to see more of that, because you wonder how deep this kind of knowledge goes. Like, do the higher-ups in the government know? Does the king or president or whoever, we haven't really seen him yet, does he know that this is going on? Does the higher-ups in the military, do they know? Or is this just kind of the religious group that knows, and they only know because the information was passed down through generations? They weren't actually there when it happened. I don't know. So moving forward, at the end of this volume, a wall gets breached and some regular-sized Titans come rushing in, which would be a big deal, right? Because these walls haven't been breached in, how long since the one initial attack. So, don't know what's going to happen with that. Perhaps they're coming for Annie to take her away, or to rescue her, or to unleash her once again. We know that she did call Titans to her before when they were in the forest, so perhaps she's the one that's calling them. Something more is going to happen with that, and we will see. I don't know if I have any kind of continuing theories other than, like I said, I feel like the Titans now were created to kind of put humanity on the same page. That might be the idea behind them. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe there are more humans in the town that are Titans. I don't know. It's a conspiracy theory, and we all love conspiracy theories, but we'll see what happens moving forward. As far as the main characters, Eren in this volume, again, he was pretty standard. I haven't, I like Eren fine, but I'm not like super invested in him as a character. Mikasa is definitely my favorite. Armin's also been really great. He's really been stepping up. He's been being more brave, kind of like leading the commands of things that are going on. Not that he's actually in command, but just that he just has that kind of inherent, like, okay, we need to do this, and then we have to do this, and he has that kind of structured kind of thing to him. And Levi, I've been liking a lot more too as it's going on. I also love some of the other kind of side characters, like Sasha the Potato Girl. I like her, and Reiner, and some of them. So I've been liking them a lot more. But anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this video, what you thought of this review, what you think about Attack on Titan and the things that are happening right now. Like I said, I am reading the manga for the first time, and I have never watched the anime or read beyond this, so it's all new to me. It's very exciting. So let me know what you think. Comment that down below. Please like the video as well. Subscribe if you want to stick around, see more anime, manga reviews, and things of that nature, and whatever else I decide to put up on here. Check the description to look at my Patreon and Discord and see if you want to join either of those. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you in the next video.